Salams. So, let's talk about caves within the prophetic tradition. Now, I'm on the trail of the prophets. Peace and blessings be upon all of them. And the prophets, there were said to have been 124,000 of them that went to every people that in speaking every language across the world since ancient times. And the prophetic path is one of purification and perfection from my perspective. One of the methods that we would use in our tradition since ancient times is to go and spend time in caves, contemplating, praying, meditating. We will see this in many of the stories within the Bible. Within the Quran, we have the Al-Kahf cave. Obviously, we've also got within the Muhammadan expression of Islam, we've got the story of our Nabi, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, going and regularly, once a year at least, going and spending 30 days in the cave on a mountain above Mecca. And he was spending time contemplating within this cave, standing, bowing, prostrating within the Hanif tradition, the ancient monotheistic tradition passed down from his ancient grandfather Ibrahim alayhi salam. And it's arguable that he attained enlightenment within this cave, so to speak, because this is where he starts having revelations and being visited by the angel Jibril alayhi salam. So within our tradition, you go back to ancient times. Let's think about the Bible. We know we have cave experiences with Ilyas, alayhi salam, Elijah. He's having powerful experiences in a cave. I would argue that anything that we have with Elijah, his disciple and inheritor, Elyasa, Elisha, that he would have too practiced within this tradition. All around, we have stories of many prophets in the Elijah story and around it, spending time in caves and finding safety and refuge in caves from persecutors who were out to kill all of the prophets. Practitioners, priests and priestesses, and the associated royalty that was associated with the Baal and Moloch blood sacrifice traditions. That was who Elijah was warring against on behalf of Allah. We've also got the stories of Dawud alayhi salam seeking refuge in the cave, and the really cool story where Saul is trying to kill him and is pursuing him, and David's hiding in a cave, and Saul decides he's tired and wants to take rest, so he goes and sleeps in the cave, and David comes and cuts a piece of his cloth out and leaves it so that Saul will know that David could have killed him and preserved his life. And it was a message, and Saul eventually relents and does not have David killed. And this is a whole other story that we'll discuss on another occasion, inshallah. But if you look, there are many, many stories within the biblical tradition of prophets spending extensive amounts of time in caves. This is part of our tradition. During 40-day fasts and retreats, we would spend time in caves. We know that Isa alayhi salam spent time in caves. The inheritors of the prophets always do as well. Like the Sufis often have 40-day retreats and they create cave-like conditions. Even if we can't go into a cave, we often spend time in cave-like conditions in the darkness in order to draw as near to Allah as possible. When we've got the stories of the Buddha Gotama, peace be upon him, whom I consider to be a great Rasul, and the Atin surah, it refers to him as, with the fig, because the Bodhi tree is a fig tree. So this is my opinion, Allahu Alam, but I believe we have a ton of evidence regarding the Buddha. So before he attained enlightenment, he spent extensive amounts of time meditating in caves, and even after attaining enlightenment, he would spend much time meditating within the cave, contemplating the breath, contemplating body sensations, and then many of his disciples continued in this tradition. And to this day, cave meditation is still a very important part of the Buddha Gotama tradition. The northern school, the southern school, all the different expressions. So you will often find show caves associated with the Buddhist tradition, as well as meditation retreat caves all throughout the Himalayan region, all throughout China, Japan, India, Southeast Asia. And it's very fascinating to go and sit and meditate and contemplate in these places. It would be interesting to do prayer retreats and dhikr retreats within caves, and especially with the resonance as you recite Allah's names, reciting the Shahada and just let it reverberate. One thing that I would highly suggest, if you get to go into a wild cave, brothers and sisters, is to go in and find a nice place to sit cross-legged with your spine erect like a stack of gold coins. Focus on your breath, and then turn off all the lights and just listen. Just observe sound. Listen to the drip dropping in the distance. Listen to all the interesting sounds that arise. And you may have some very interesting experiences. In another video, inshallah, I'll tell you about some people that I've met who have done 10-day retreats within a cave setting, and some experiences some other people have had, inshallah. So until then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.